the original Metal Gear Solid 1, right?
Yeah.
It was like self-contained ass movie, and it's like it can be open-ended, it can continue, and all this stuff. That for me is like a masterpiece. Like that's the kind of impact that I wanted to feel from Final Fantasy. And I played Metal Gear like earlier this year too, and I'm still in love with that game. And you put that up against Final Fantasy, action is great. Like I said, I enjoyed it, and I would play it again too, just because of the action and Tifa. Tifa's hot, and I love Tifa.
I think everybody likes Tifa.
Those are the reasons why I play. It's like Tifa and Aerith too. She's so cute. But they have this propagandist girl with paperwork, and she disappears. Newscaster lady, she puts her legs on people's backs. I don't know why, but she does that because you have to.
Yeah, this is.
She does.
There's
she
some
does
weird
that
stuff.
for some reason.
It's the same character in the original. I think the big thing is if we're going to introduce Sephiroth in disc 1, right? Like they did for remake.
We should have announced spoiler alert in the beginning of this. I hate when people talk about shit and not fucking tell them. So sorry, future viewers.
No, it's cool. Man, it's cool. Just say whatever's on your mind, dude.
If you're gonna introduce it, right, I think Sephiroth works better as the main antagonist for Tifa's story. Because if you look at the state of mind in disc 1, right, where Cloud and Tifa are, I think Tifa has way more reason to hate Sephiroth than Cloud does.
Without going into too many details.
Okay, good. Without going into the detail, I know that there's some sort of story behind it because they're in different outbacks, outfits, and they have flashbacks. And they had some sort of trauma with them. I get that. They don't explain any of it, but I need you to tell me so I can care more about it. I need context.
Okay.
They do a lot of this teasing stuff because they think that's gonna be fun. It's like, oh yeah, we'll just leave it. No, fuck. It's like a story. I need to care about the story first, and then you can tease me.
Okay, so
you gotta put context.
Okay, so the way I would have fixed it if I was the director is if you go up to the point where you reach the first city in the original game, and then you do the flashback sequence when you know how evil Sephiroth is. Like,
show me show me what he did. Just show me.
Yeah.
Just show me. Yeah. And it's just flat out, make it simple because we're all stupid. That's enough to push me forward in the story.
Yeah. But the problem with the remake is
Go ahead.
Oh. But the problem with the remake is it ended right before the flashback was about to occur. You know? So like you know what I'm talking about, right, Matt?
Yeah. Where about like what or they talk about what Sephiroth did, and I think that's why Tifa, if you don't have to show everything, right? Just have maybe a good throwaway line of what Sephiroth or what happened to Tifa. Like you don't have to show everything, just maybe 1 or 2 lines where she even shudders at the name, or like just a little fear in her eyes when she when Cloud starts talking about him again.
So that's what I mean. I, as a player who's going into the first time, story wise, it was like C-.
Yeah.
Gameplay, like action gameplay. Oh man, that's one of the best fun I've ever had with like turn-based, mixed with like real time. I love that shit. It's insane. And then so like I said, B-. But they had flashbacks to characters I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I assumed it's somebody's dad.
Yeah.
I assume. But again, it's stupid. You can't do that. It makes no sense as a writer, as a story, story or plot point. Like this person did this. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Black hair, okay, cool. Like there's no reason for me to care because there's no context to pull you in. And it seems like they're basically it's a love letter to people who've already played it. The original, maybe. That's what I was assuming.
That was their like target audience, though. Like, because a lot of people really like Final Fantasy 7, and it did sell the most copies out of the entire Final Fantasy series.
Right.
Aside from like, I think Final Fantasy 10. Final Fantasy 10 might have been like at the same level, but Final Fantasy 7 was widely loved, and then I think they were trying to focus in on their target audience, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Because
So how does it feel when somebody's telling a joke, like an inside joke,
Yeah.
and you're the one who's outside? How does that feel?
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good.
Hey guys, you know that thing? Well, what's that about? It's like, don't worry about it, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
I understand.
Don't worry about it. But guys, I just tell me. Nah.
Yeah.
You don't need to know about it.
I get what you're saying, Jed. I get what you're saying.
Fucking yeah.
But
so that's yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I just think they could have, even as a longtime fan, I think they could have done a better job with the game direction in terms of like how they were telling the story for like a new generation or people who weren't interested in the Final Fantasy franchise and were coming into it for the first time. I think they could have did a better job with that. But as the core Final Fantasy fan that I am, like I appreciate all the quality of life things because I've never, when I was playing Final Fantasy 7, all I saw were like polygons and still images.
Right.
Where it was like, you know, they were using very, very basic stuff. They were limited by like what they were given at the time for like their technology, the way they would interpret the art. Like for me to see that in like newer graphics and like, you know, like almost hyper realistic graphics, it was amazing to me because like I remember like every single location and they added more to it. Like that town of the slums, that used to be only one screen. Like if you played Resident Evil, the old one before, it was one screen. That entire town, and then it's just like it's so bewildering to me, you know? It's
I know. That's I mean, I couldn't have that effect because, like I said, I didn't play the original.
Yeah,
I did have the effect for Resident Evil.
I feel
and that does play into the strength of the game.
Yeah,
when you're a veteran of the game, being able to see it come to life and just come to life.
Yeah,
it's probably an experience that.
But I also feel for like the newer generation or the people who didn't play Final Fantasy. I feel for you guys because it's like I want you guys to have the same feelings that I did for the original Final Fantasy 7, and then they didn't do a good job.
Nostalgia is something you can't have unless you actually played the game.
No, like not nostalgia. I mean, just like coming into Final Fantasy for the first time. Like I didn't know shit about Final Fantasy until I played it when I was like 10 years old. I was like, wow, this game is great. This game's amazing. I can't stop talking about it. I wanted that feeling for like people who have never played Final Fantasy. And Square Enix did not do a good job with some of the story direction. They might have focused a little bit too hard on the core audience. They might have picked the wrong director. I couldn't tell you what is exactly wrong or how I would fix it exactly. But I definitely feel for like the new people who are getting into Final Fantasy for the first time, you know?
There's also one issue with the story is that when the original Final Fantasy 7 released, right, it was a 3-disc game, so the entirety was there. You didn't have to wait the 5 to 10 years that the next game's gonna take to come out.
Right.
So you could jump right in. You'd be like, okay, cool. There's a lot of mystery. Put it in the next disc. And like what? Like 10 minutes later, okay, we're back into it. Let's figure this shit out.
You can figure it out.